Hello everybody and welcome to Evil Ted Live here on twitch.tv/EvilTedSmith. In today's episode, I'm going to be cleaning up a gun. This is a cool prop I got from my friend of Zander. Zander has a website, Zprops.net, where he sells numerous props and weapons from really popular video games. And this is what he made, and I love this gun. So in today's episode, I'm going to clean this up, pick out some colors, and we're going to paint it. So let's get started. This gun was from anime. I don't really know the title of the film, but I like the look of the gun. This is super cool. I love the unique look of it. So what I did was, the cool thing is when Zander made this, he had a really nice mold, so the seams are almost virtually invisible. But they're a little bit still there, so I went ahead and sanded with a rough grade, went back in with a lighter grit, and went in still with, I used this Bondo glaze putty. This is air dry. It dries and it sands like butter. But this is what I have, and this will work fine. So I'm going to take a fine sanding stick, and I'm just going to do a little bit of sanding over my spot putty and clean up the seams. So I'm going to do that first. On this button, as you can see this really quick, there's a couple of bubbles there. I just take my my file, kind of go in here and scrape those guys out. And to clean up that fine detail, definitely get yourself on the file kit. This is great. You can get these anywhere. As a matter of fact, you can get this on the link below this video. Great little thing to have in your arsenal when you're doing working with cast pieces and props and plastic parts. Nice little file set. I'm going to be using, this is Osh enamel primer. Alright, it's been properly primed. It's nice and dry. Look it over. This seam looks great. All the spots look great, looking good, looking good. A little bit underneath here, my patch, you can see some, I don't know if you guys can see this at home, some heavy scratching. And normally I let it go, but I know I'm gonna paint this with some metallics. And any kind of imperfections with metallics, they really pop, so you definitely wanna go back in and sand it. So I'll just give this a little bit of a wet sand. I'm gonna let that dry a little bit longer. So our next step is I'm going to pick out some colors and decide what I'm gonna paint this with next. Here's the gun. I did a metallic gunmetal. I got this from an automotive store doing automotive paint. Again, everybody, it doesn't have any particular brand, but I like this. It had 8 hours to dry. It's ready to be masked and painted. I went through and picked out some colors. For the receiver, I'm going to use bright silver. For the lower section, I want to just look at something completely different. I got a desert theme going here. I'm going to do this in yellow. And for the back handle, make it look like it's rubber. So I'm going to paint this black. So I figured the most complicated thing I'm going to do first is the silver on this. So I'm going to start masking this inside so I can paint this. Now you could brush this, but I wanted to spray it so it looks super bright. So I'm going to be using my Tamiya masking tape, guys. This stuff is awesome. You can get that on the link below. I'll have links for all this below the video.
I just started using that stuff, and I don't know what I was waiting for. It's great.
All right. I sometimes, guys, when I put tape on something, I want to make sure I get down in deep spots. I'll just take a Q-tip because I want to get that tape in there. Make this down a little bit. Kind of just burnish that tape in there. I can tell right now it's not completely laid down. Get in there.
Nice.
Get in there, you sucker. All right. Really quickly, guys, I want to show you a little trick. Sometimes when you're masking things like this gun, this is receiver, and you see I'm not getting the tape back here. I like to take the tape and you just gently apply it on top of an X-Acto blade because you need to float it. So I need to float it in there. There you go, it's better. Float it in like this. And don't, once you're ready to make contact, then boom, got it. Touch down. Bang, see? That's all the way in there. And when you're trying to put a piece of tape in there, you're struggling with it.
Yeah, your big fat fingertips don't want to.
Won't let you get in there. So you just put on an X-Acto blade, drop it in, burnish it down. All right. All right. Now I went through with the Tamiya tape and got all the detail areas I want to mask off. For the majority of this, I'm just going to do the rest with bigger blue tape and some Saran wrap. Oh, thank you, Bill. This is exactly what I was looking for. Going to cost the. Do this on the edges. All right, now that I got the majority of everything taped off, still a lot of this stuff is still. Now you could cover this whole thing with tape, and again, while working at the prop house, is a trick I learned from my friend Jason. You just take this Saran wrap, and what's so great about this is that you just cover such a wide area. That annoying overspray I was talking about, this eliminates it completely, and it's fast. You don't have to worry about it. I wrap a couple times. Good, got it now. For the handle, same thing. And then what I can do is I do this, and if there's any spots missing, I can just go back in with tape. But I want to get this majority of this stuff covered, and it's quick and it's easy.
And because it's not adhesive,
Right.
it's not as aggressive on the finish of the paint that's already down.
And again, if you put a lot of tape on a prop, no matter how much time you let it dry, there's always a chance of leaving residue and something, which I've always had happen to me. All right, see then, it's all properly ready. I just got this little spot down here, and that can be fixed with the blue tape, and we are good to go. Again, as I was saying, when you paint this, again, this looks like overkill, but when you're airbrushing people, it'll travel. So when you're painting a small part, cover everything, because it will bite you in the butt if you do not. Well, tell you what, I'm good to go. Let's paint it.
Let's paint it.
Wow. Now I can control the flow by pulling back on it gently. This is awesome. This has been properly dried. The next thing I'm going to paint is the handle. And I realized I already got the majority of this already masked off, so there's no need to take all this masking off when I'm only going to paint the lower handle. So I'm going to go ahead and take all this off. Thank you, Bill.
I will be your trash monkey.
Trash monkey!
Ready? See some athletic skill, Ted?
Wait,
See
I'm
the trash can?
I'm
Ready?
watching. Wait, I'm watching.
Ready? Not even close.
So bad you guys couldn't watch this at home. All right, there we go. All right, now we got this. I'm going to concentrate with the tape, the Tamiya, of course. And these lines are nice and crisp, so I'm just going to put that tape right on the edge, like this. Perfect. All right, again, we get this all masked off. I just realized this is so important.
Oh yeah, don't paint that.
You can't paint that, and this is the safest way to take care of this. Is I'm just going to go like this.
Because that paint is still fairly fresh.
Yes, it's super fresh.
So putting masking tape on it might peel it off.
Peeled off, so I'll make sure this is super safe by doing this. Watch this. Oh, bam, problem solved. No paint is getting near that. Ta-da!
I used to use that stuff when I worked at a beer warehouse
For wrapping stuff.
for wrapping up orders of pallets of beer.
All right, I got everything properly masked off. I got my handle ready to go. I got my black loaded up with my airbrush. But before I start spraying, I'm going to put on my mask. I'm going to put on my mask, which again, super cool. These guys are super comfortable. If you want to know where to get one of these, go to my website. Click on the link below. On this video, click on the link below. Here we go. Again, when you're pulling the tape off, I cannot stress enough, take your time. Do not pull quickly. Even though, again, it's demasking. I worked on a job in shops, so I'd be working on stuff, and I would get a little impatient, and I'd pull, and I would just lift the paint off. And again, this is all dry, and it's probably really safe, but there's a wiring. Oh, see, look at watch this, guys. Look at this. See right there? That's silver. That came off of that.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you that there's spots that didn't get a good adhesion with the paint. And you can prevent that by just pulling very slowly. Now when you pull, when I'm talking about when pulling tape, don't pull up. Don't pull up on your tape. You rock your tape back and you pull on the same surface like this. What that does, it takes away the tension of the surface of pulling up. So do not pull up on your tape. Pull along the edge of what you just masked. Well, there it is, guys. It's all been properly demasked. This looks awesome. Now it's time for detail work. Paint this. My dark yellow desert color. So I'm going to do that next. We'll paint that. All right, here we go. This again, guys, why I like the Tamiya paint so much is that the pigments are super strong. I'm just going to go in and do one brush stroke. And that is doing it. Funny stuff. Okay, there's the gun. I got it all done. I got the base metallic color to do with automotive paint, and I wanted to paint those, but it's always kind of a mess to paint. So what I'm doing is I got some stuff vinyl. Just kind of lay it in there right in the corner. Just to get started. Voila. And I can see the little gold recess in there. Nice little detail. Now the gun's been painted. I usually normally go back in and start doing the weathering, but I thought about this. What would really make this gun pop and make it a little more sci-fi, I'm gonna put some graphics on it. I have some dry transfer lettering and some stickers I've collected. So I'm gonna just to place some letters and numbers on the gun to make it a little bit more high tech. All right, now I got the graphics on there. I got my both sides, my dry transfer letters. Got a little cool sticker there done. It's all been placed. Now let's start to age. I'm gonna do that with the airbrush. So my next step is I'll mix up some colors. I have a little blackish brown in here. Again, it's thinned down with alcohol. I'm gonna do the same thing. I have some Tamiya, flat black. I'm gonna put a little in here. I'm gonna thin it down as well. Again, I don't wanna use a straight black. The pigment's really strong, so I'm gonna thin it down so it's a little bit transparent. So when I shoot through the airbrush, it'll create that kind of aging effect. Let's do a little aging on this. The trick to painting, to get anything the way you want to, you got to do it in layers. You put on, don't expect to age everything with one color because it's not going to look natural. You have to be able to put layers on. If any people work in Photoshop, it's all these different layers you work with, and it's the same with painting. Layers and layers of different colors that give it gives the thing you're building depth, a little bit of life to it. And even for a prop, it just helps to put on layers of color. I'm pretty much happy with this. There's a little trick. I'm looking at some of this paint. I got a little heavy in spots, and I got some steel wool, and you can get this is the 000 fine. This is the 4 zeros. Like, this is super fine steel wool. And what I like using this because you have to be careful not to go too hard. This paint is automotive enamel paint. It's pretty strong, but the airbrush paint's acrylic based, so that'll come off a lot easier. And to show you some of the aging techniques, you take the steel wool very gently, and you can kind of rub off. I'll give you guys an example here. The best way to do it is probably on this guy here. Now be careful because you don't want to push too hard because you can remove the paint underneath it, so it's just really light. All we're doing is removing the airbrushed aging I did on it just a little bit to make some highlights pop through. There's a little bit of a natural wear to it. Now I want to do some nicks and scratches. My concept is it's kind of a plated metal, but there's going to be some nicks and scratches which show raw metal. I'm going to end up doing this with some Tamiya bright silver. Now you can do this in two ways. You can do this also with rub and buff. Rub and buff is a great technique to use as well. But I like using the Tamiya because it's super bright. I like when I work with Tamiya, I like to have a little cup of alcohol standing by. Because Tamiya is really concentrated and thick, so I just kind of do a little, wet my brush with it, thin it. I'm gonna do some scratches right here, like. Well, I have to say I'm very happy. I went in with the airbrush and did some browns, did some blacks, did a little steel wool to remove some of the excess paint, and then went back in with some silver for nicks and aging and scratches. I am really happy how this turned out. To give you guys the full effect, let me just kill this light so you can actually see it a lot better. The letters, the graphics, it kind of pulls it all together, makes it all sci-fi. I can say I'm officially done with this gun. I'm very happy how it turned out. Wow, there it is. Super cool. Again, guys, this gun, people are asking where I get this at. This is from my buddy Zander at Zprops.net. Again, this airbrush was provided by my friend Bruce, which he has a company. They're going to be doing YouTube videos on how to use the airbrush. I will have information on the links below. Be sure to check them out. Again, guys, a big shout out. When you were watching the video and thought, hey, is that Bill Doran in there? The answer is yes. Bill was visiting. He was out for VidCon. And while Bill was here, he taught me a valuable tool called Inkscape. He walked me through on the Inkscape tutorial, taught me how to use the Inkscape. And in return, guys, you go to his website, punishprops.com. He has an Inkscape tutorial video you guys can download for only $5. It's definitely worth it because now he shows me the power of Inkscape. I'm going to start doing it as well. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out today and watching me paint this cool prop from my friend at Zprops.net. I will catch you guys. Oh, don't forget, everybody, I stream Monday and Tuesdays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Times. I stream also Thursdays from noon to 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Times. Thank you guys. Don't forget to go to my website, eviltedsmith.com. Get on my shopping link, buy some patterns, show some love, and I'll catch you back next time right here on Evil Ted Live. Pew, pew.